Imagine this. A newlywed couple. Okay. They're just days into their honeymoon, surrounded by these absolutely stunning, picturesque landscapes in Meghalaya. You'd think, romance, the
An
future.
ideal start, right?
Exactly. But then suddenly, poof, they vanish. And when a body is finally found, it's in terrible condition, badly mutilated. It's not just the end of a supposed love story. It's the really chilling start of a murder investigation.
Yeah, a complete nightmare scenario.
This is the deep dive, and today we're really plunging into a complex and honestly disturbing case. The Raghuvanshi murder, a tale of betrayal. We've gathered, well, a whole stack of sources, articles, reports, notes that piece together the full picture.
Everything from the background, the conspiracy, how it was carried out, and then this quite incredible escape attempt.
Right. Our mission here is to unpack all those layers for you. We'll go from what looked like, a romantic beginning to a crime that was just meticulously planned out. We want to connect all the dots so you can really get a grasp of what actually happened here. Okay, let's get into it. Well, the first thing that jumps out, I think, is just how quickly that whole honeymoon picture dissolves. The details around the marriage itself, they immediately point to something much darker underneath.
Oh, absolutely. That shift from idyllic to sinister is almost immediate, and it starts right with the marriage itself. So we have Raja Raghuvanshi is about 29 from Indore, and Sonam Raghuvanshi around 25. They got married May 11th, 2025. Seems normal, right? A fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the twist, the crucial detail our sources flag right away. Sonam was already having an illicit affair with her employee, a guy named Raj Kushwaha, and this started before the wedding.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's not just some tragic love triangle that develops later. This betrayal is like woven into the very fabric of their vows from day one.
That really reframes the whole marriage, doesn't it? It suggests, well, it might have been part of this larger deception all along, maybe not a genuine union at all. That pre-existing affair definitely sets a very sinister stage. Makes you question the whole point of the wedding? It certainly does. So, okay, the wedding happens. The next scene in this chilling drama unfolds. Raja and Sonam head off on their honeymoon to Meghalaya, specifically Cherrapunji, which is also known as Sora. Beautiful place, but also quite remote.
Right.
They get there around May 20th, but just 3 days later, May 23rd, after they leave this small homestay they were at, they just disappear. There were some initial camera sightings nearby, but then nothing. Radio silence.
That location choice, Cherrapunji.
Yeah.
It's interesting, obviously stunningly beautiful, but the isolation is key, isn't it? Did the investigation find out why they chose somewhere so remote specifically? Or was that remoteness just, convenient for the plan?
Well, that's something the investigation likely dug into, but as you can imagine, once they vanished, panic set in pretty fast. Raja's family, the police, they launched this huge search, combing the area, looking for any sign. Days turned into weeks. Hope starts to fade.
Yeah, that must have been agonizing for the family.
And then, on June 2nd, the worst possible news. The unimaginable happened.
Raja's body was found in a deep gorge, right? Near the Waisaodong waterfall.
Exactly. And the condition, badly mutilated. Identification was only possible because he had a distinctive tattoo. It just speaks volumes about the brutality, the intent maybe to erase him completely.
Absolutely. A truly gruesome discovery and obviously a critical turning point in the investigation.
Yeah. So, given how severe this was, the Meghalaya police didn't waste any time. They formed a special investigation team, an SIT.
Standard procedure for something this serious.
Right. And the SIT started digging deep, looking at travel patterns, communications, and they uncovered something really chilling, this murder. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, not a crime of passion that erupted on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
No. The conspiracy, the planning. It had apparently been brewing since February, months before they even got married.
February. Wow. Okay, that completely shifts the perspective. This wasn't just passion gone wrong. This was premeditated, cold-blooded.
Yeah.
The sheer length of that conspiracy, months long, that shows an incredible level of intent, persistence.
Persistence is almost an understatement here. Get this. The SIT found evidence of 5 to 6 prior plans and failed attempts to kill Raja before this final successful one.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Failed attempts.
Yeah. Can you imagine? The sources detail some pretty chilling stuff, like one plan involved staging Sonam's drowning, maybe to lure Raja somewhere. Another, even more horrifying, was a plan to kill some unknown woman and pass her body off as Sonam's.
Good grief. That's That's elaborate.
Whoa.
And desperate.
And there were unsuccessful attempts, actual attempts in Guwahati before the honeymoon, and then 2 more attempts in Sora itself during the honeymoon, where Raja somehow miraculously survived.
So they just kept trying. One plan fails, they move straight to the next.
Yeah.
It shows this relentless drive to get rid of him. Adaptable, persistent, focused on that one single goal, no matter the risk.
And how did they coordinate all this? Well, the digital footprint they left was pretty damning. Call logs. Sonam apparently made around 234 calls to someone listed as Sanjay Verma. That Sanjay Verma was later confirmed to be Raj Kushwaha, her lover, the employee. And that wasn't even all. Investigators found another 119 calls. It paints this picture of just constant, extensive communication between them, cementing that conspiracy idea.
And that's such a key part of modern investigations, isn't it? These digital trails, call logs, messages, they become silent witnesses. They map out the planning, the interactions leading up to the crime, things that would otherwise be hidden. It's undeniable evidence of coordination.
Exactly. So let's get to the actual execution. May 23rd. The day Raj disappeared, Sonam, according to the investigation, lured him away from Guwahati back towards Sora. She described the route as Nepal-like, apparently, the pretext, visiting a temple.
Using a temple visit as a ruse that feels particularly dark.
Yeah.
Exploiting something sacred, turning it into a trap.
It really does. And what happened next seems cold, calculated, and precise. They were near the Wei Sodong waterfall parking area, the time, between 2:00 p.m. and 2:18 p.m. Very specific window. And here's a strange detail investigators noted. Just before the attack, Raj Kushwaha reportedly went into the women's toilet.
The women's toilet. Raj. Okay, that's odd.
Yeah, unclear why, but while he was presumably in there, or just as he emerged, 3 other culprits, police named them as Akash, Anand, and Vishal, they ambushed Raja, attacked him with knives.
So 4 attackers in total, including Raj.
Seems like it. And police found a dao at the scene. That's a type of heavy knife or machete common in that region. And Sonam's role in the actual attack. Investigators say she gave a signal right before fleeing the immediate scene.
A signal. So an active participant.
That's what the police reconstruction suggests. And right after that, the 4 men, Raj, Akash, Anand, Vishal, allegedly threw Raj's body into that deep gorge.
Wow. The level of detail there, the time, the signal, the specific weapon type found. It really points to meticulous planning and coordination, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not chaotic, but choreographed. Everyone had a role.
And then came the escape, which was, frankly, audacious. Sonam apparently immediately drove off on a scooter, taking the 3 other culprits, Akash, Anand, and Vishal, with her.
A scooter. With 3 other people. Okay.
I know, it sounds crowded. But her escape route, this demonstrates just an astonishing amount of planning for the aftermath. She apparently changed clothes repeatedly while traveling.
Well, that's a evasion tactic.
Right.
Oh.
She went from Laitringo to Guwahati, then somehow through Siliguri, Patna, Ara, Lucknow. Finally reaching Indore, back where Raja was from, sometime between May 26th and June 8th. It's this incredibly elaborate, multi-state journey designed to throw off anyone following.
Yeah, changing appearance, taking a circuitous route. That's not improvisation. That screams pre-planning. A sophisticated attempt to create confusion and distance. Shows just how calculated the whole thing was from start to finish.
But even that elaborate escape didn't last forever. Sonam eventually surrendered. She turned herself into the police in Ghazipur, Uttar Pradesh, on June 9th.
Surrendered. Interesting. Wonder what prompted that.
Maybe the net was closing in. Her surrender quickly led the police to Raj Kushwaha and the others. Akash, Anand, Vishal, they were all apprehended.
Got it. So the whole alleged group was rounded up.
Correct. So now we have all 5 accused in custody. Sonam, Raj, Akash, Anand, and Vishal. They were initially remanded to police custody back on June 11th. And today, June 19th, is actually a key date. They're all being presented in the Shillong court.
For the decision on extending that police custody or moving them to judicial remand, right? That's a crucial step.
Exactly. Shows the legal process moving forward quickly. Now let's touch on some of the different claims and counter-narratives popping up. SP Vivek Siam, who's heading the investigation for the Meghalaya police, made a point of stating this was not a contract killing.
Okay, why is that distinction important for them to make?
Well, he described it more as a conspiracy driven by friendship or shared intent among the accused. It shifts the motive away from just money, perhaps, towards something more personal, maybe a shared goal between them all.
Right. Changes the dynamic from a hired hit to a group effort with potentially complex motivations. Makes sense.
And the police say their evidence from the crime scene recreation demonstrated Sonam's responsible role, as they put it. They also apparently found a second weapon, and there's some factory camera footage involved too, though details on that are scarce.
So they feel they have strong evidence tying her directly to the act and the planning.
Seems so. But as often happens in these big cases, you get conflicting stories. Raj Kushwaha's mother, for instance, has publicly claimed he's innocent. She said he had two jobs, implying he wouldn't have had time or motive.
Understandable denial from a mother, perhaps.
And then Raja's father. He's voiced suspicions about missing jewelry, suggesting maybe a robbery element, but he's also publicly accused Sonam of using black magic on his son.
Black magic. Okay, that adds a very different dimension. Shows the kind of desperation and maybe cultural framing people resort to when trying to understand something so horrific. It highlights the emotional turmoil.
It certainly does. And this case has had wider ripples, too. The Meghalaya government has apparently initiated moves to mandate registration for all homestays, a direct response to improve safety given where the couple disappeared from.
Makes sense. A high-profile crime like this often forces policy changes, especially in tourism, to reassure people and try to prevent future incidents. It shows the broader impact.
And the police also mentioned they're still investigating other potential angles, economic motives, other emotional or financial factors, suggesting the illicit affair might not be the only piece of the puzzle.
Right, motives can be layered. The affair might be central, but maybe not the whole story.
So as things stand today, June 19th, all five, Sonam, Raj, Akash, Anand, Vishal, are facing charges. Murder, conspiracy, weapon use, they remain in custody. The next steps are clear. Judicial process. Presentation of all this evidence, witness testimonies, forensic reports hitting the court, probably more investigation. It's going to be a long road.
Absolutely. The police have built their case, gathered evidence, reconstructions, but the courtroom is where it all gets tested, rigorously examined, debated. That's the crucial next phase for justice.
And the public reaction, as you might expect, has been intense. There was apparently some kind of farewell video Sonam posted on social media before the disappearance, maybe, and that sparked huge controversy. Many people online are calling her actions deceitful.
Yeah, social media can amplify those initial reactions and judgments massively.
It really can. It even got to the point where Meghalaya's tourism minister had to issue a warning, threatening legal action against misinformation to protect the state's image. Shows just how far-reaching the fallout is.
Wow, the pressure is immense from all sides.
So yeah, today, June 19th, 2025, is that key day. All five accused back in Shillong court for that decision on custody or judicial remand. This deep dive, I mean, it's taken us through a really complex story, hasn't it? A twisted love triangle, this chillingly persistent conspiracy that apparently started months before the wedding.
Leading to a very cold-blooded murder. And then that astonishingly elaborate escape attempt across multiple states.
Yeah. The police seem to have meticulously pieced together the timeline and events, overcoming, hurdles like the remote location, the condition of the body, using forensics, digital trails. But now the real struggle shifts to the courts, that meticulous examination of every piece of evidence.
That's where the burden of proof lies now, ensuring everything holds up under scrutiny.
This case, like unfortunately so many others we hear about, is just a stark reminder, isn't it? How deeply appearances can deceive, how fragile trust can really be. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe here's something provocative for you, the listener, to think about. In a world where what you see often isn't the whole story, where trust can be broken so profoundly, how do we even begin to discern the truth hidden under layers of, carefully built deception? And what makes people do these things? What role do external pressures or maybe their own personal histories play in pushing individuals towards such extreme violent acts?